Greetings from California, USA. My name is Andrew Waters, and I'm presenting today at the TUG 2024 conference on my software system, Full Spectrum Litigator. Just an agenda for everyone's use. First, I'm going to talk about my background, challenges in my work as a law firm owner, solutions that I've come up with, the tech-specific aspects of the solution, future uses of tech in my system, and the conclusion. So I've got a half-hour max, and I want to fill that 30 minutes, a couple minutes for questions. I'll try to do captions. I'm not sure they should appear either down here or over there, but I'll get to that a little bit later. My background. So I am an attorney in California. I have a law firm of 4 attorneys and 4 administrative professionals based in Redwood City, California. I've been in practice for just under 19 years, and I've had my own law firm for 8 years. So in that time, I've seen a lot in terms of information systems and what is necessary for us and other firms, and what challenges there will be in the future. I'm also a self-taught web application programmer with 24 years of experience in the LAMP stack, and I found that experience has helped a lot in terms of adding features to my web platform and so on. So let me talk to you for a second about what's on the screen here. We've got obviously my intro over here on your left. Got logged into my server on the right, which I'm going to demo some stuff for you shortly. I've got just the telemetry down here for my own purposes. I'm in OBS, but the rendering is close to adequate. Continue to monitor that. So, the challenges facing a small law firm. Those include disorganized workflows, proprietary applications, such as Microsoft Office, and formatting issues between applications, such as Mac OS and Windows, and trying to get staff and employees to work together in those platforms has been challenging, and that's where my solution comes in. Also, there's vendor lock-in and subscription costs. So, Microsoft Office is $100 per year. Not too much, but the point is, it's not just MS Word, it's MS Word and ProLaw and LexisNexis and all these other applications for law firm use that require additional subscriptions to get the features. Another challenge is coordinating people in the firm on tasks and cases and making sure that everyone is communicating with each other adequately. That's been a challenge over many years, and I've improved that with my system, but I'm going to talk about how I resolve that. Integration of various information systems, most of them Windows only, has been challenging. For example, Microsoft Access or Excel, people often use that for billing or for other case tracking features, and those are difficult to integrate with Linux. My chosen platform for my workstation and servers is Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and I have a cross-section of users in the office, some using Mac OS, some using Windows, myself using Linux. It's challenging getting people on the same page with those different platforms. So also, email and calendaring is an issue. On my systems, which are all Mac OS for the employees, we have Thunderbird, and we have that for both email and calendaring, as I have my own Radical calendar server. It's part of my email server in my AT closet over here. But in any case, calendaring and email are just challenging because without Outlook or Microsoft Exchange and not wanting to be on those platforms, it's been difficult to get everyone on the same page and coordinated. My solution. I came up with a solution a few years ago in 2017, and it is one integrated system for handling tasks, time, files, billing, email, calendaring, and various reports. And that system has been under development for the last 7 or 8 years. So the current system came about because I was using a Mac for my desktop, and my paralegal wanted to use Windows, and we had a Samba file server on the Linux machine that was our file server. It was not working properly on Mac OS. They still not work properly. So it just snowballed from there. Current system, I will show you in a second. It's a LAMP web application running PHP and PostgreSQL. We currently use FPDF for printing PDF pre-bills and bills, but I will show you how we've changed that to TEC in the recent past. Email and calendaring is, as I mentioned, via Thunderbird on the current system. But the next generation portal that we have will integrate calendaring, email, task management, file management, etc. Let me show you my current generation portal. This is, and by the way, I hereby bless you all with a non-disclosure agreement. This has attorney-client privilege information, but there's no other way I could really demonstrate this without showing what I'm doing. But anyway, over here on the top left, just some information about users in the firm and what they each are working on in terms of number of hours and their earnings for the firm. We've got a bunch of features here that are a web application-based setup. And this is the homepage, which has the tasks for everyone. And if you click on any particular link, you'll get like a link to that person's file. So I have file server integrated with my portal. And here we have just a task list of what people are doing and what it's been assigned to various persons in the firm. Got tags so that when you click on someone's user page, like this is Lorraine, for example, you'll see all the tasks that have been assigned to her, or that she's tagged in and is collaborating on. So over here on the right, we have precedence, the homepage. Precedence, which is critic through low, but the most common categories are routine, priority, and urgent. And that's kind of a visual indicator of what people are doing. The problem with this is not that it works, which it does. It's that it is a static and tabular format system for displaying task information for our user. So what I have done is do a next generation portal, which has a different visual paradigm. That's what I'm showing you now. Next gen. Over here, obviously I've got some work to do on the formatting, but what we have here is a task list which has all the tasks you saw on the previous screen, but they're sorted in terms of cards on this next-gen user interface that I created. And this user interface is intended to provide a more intuitive way of accessing the information and also a more user-friendly approach. So, it's a couple examples. Turn off my KPI. Emails. We've got email integrated with the next-gen portal so that people can read their emails in a very basic fashion on the portal screen without even going to Thunderbird. That's this window right here. And obviously this is a file browser that I did, and you can kind of browse around and reorder tasks however you want as the user. And you have the ability to prioritize in your own personal priority list what you want to do, as windows, etc. But here's where TEC comes in. In the old portal, in the old portal, there's no way to get a summary or a task assignment of what you were doing or were assigned because all you have is the web page. So what I did is, on the next-gen portal, I've got the ability to print task orders, which is linked in each task, and that creates a TEC file that reads from a TEC template and creates a PDF of whatever task it is that's assigned. So for example, this one, it's no secret. In this case, the client wants to do XYZ. Let me click on task order. And what I get is a PDF that's printable, and I can also print this to my copier in the office with an additional command. But in any case, the user gets a PDF of the task order, which pulls data from my database, and this is formatted in TEC and created as a PDF and then output to the browser. Let me show you the code that did that. Over here, I am on my portal. I've got the warning message, etc. But we go to the tasks folder in NextGen. Okay, so I'm in my NextGen folder, and what I'm going to show you is the task.php file that creates this task PDF. What I have here, anybody who's familiar with PHP, they'll see that I have a procedural paradigm here. But in any case, my first step is to read the tech template from the file system, and that's task.tech. I will show you that in a second here. What I've done is create tech template where I have a standard document with all the packages that I want to use and so on. But what I've done here is put declared PHP command so I can have code. That's that right there. I've got PHP code or PHP variables in the PHP tag, and that's null in terms of what tech does with it. So I can put PHP variables right here. Example, I've got the PHP tag, and I just said var name or name of my law firm. And so up here on the left, you'll see var name is this, Andrew G. Waters Esquire, which I replace PHP script. But the point is, I've got the formatting in tech, got the variables tagged with the PHP tag, such as var precedence color, var task assign date, var task due date. See over here, task order corresponds with that, obviously. Color box, var precedence color, which is with a switch based on how urgent the task is. In this case, it's red. In other cases, it's orange or green. So I've created a tech template, and I've got PHP tags that I then replace in the PHP script. As you'll see here, put all PHP tag variables into an array and offset their positions. Replace data with the data from input, etc. What the first step I do here is query the database for the task information. I've got my standard PostgreSQL command here with the task ID, which you see in the GET request right here. And that gets all these data fields for that particular task. I have a switch based on precedence. So for color red, precedence is urgent. That's with the number 1 in the task field in the database. Then get my list of staff. Then replace the data variables in the tech file with my specified variables. This was a challenge because obviously tech has issues with slashes, backslashes, etc. So I'm having to put multiple slashes in PHP to put backslashes in tech, and that doesn't always work correctly, like with dollar signs, for example. I have a different solution for that. But anyway, I've got my replacement here, arrays of patterns and replacements. That means it takes an array of patterns, the variables in the tech file, and then replaces them with my own values that I obtained from my database. There's an array of search fields and an array of replacement fields. And as long as they're the same length in PHP, that's how you will replace array value with a different array value. So once I take the file and read into a variable as a string, I then replace with an array I replace array values with the array variables that I defined, and then I get a new file string. I then put the contents into a new file on the system that's a tech file, and then I process the tech file with PDF LaTeX. Take it from there. So you'll see here, I've got a non-standard path for Tech Live. For technical reasons I'm not going to get into. But anyway, I also have the option of emailing a user when I assign a new task. So when the new task is assigned, this PDF gets emailed to the tagged users, which are these folks right here, myself, Cam, and Lorraine in this case. So I'm going to demo that for you in a second. But there's a standard PHP mail script, and then if I am not emailing the PDF, then I will display the PDF in the browser as I'm doing here. So straightforward use of PHP, 106 lines here to accomplish this, this goal. I'm pretty happy with the result. So let's see what happens when we assign a task to someone. Close out of that. Okay, go back to the main portal, assign a task. Let's pick a particular case, administration. Primary handler, myself. Supervisor, myself. Not going to tag anyone else. Let's just write a tag out, task out. Prepare summary. Expectation. As much time as possible on this. Time estimate 1.0. Priority. Okay, so now I've just assigned myself a task. Going back to the portal, next gen. And here we have there it is. That's my task. And then my email should show a task order, which I will get to in a second. But if I click on this again, there's my task order. It shows in the web browser, but I also have this on my email. And that's a live generated file from tech of my current recently assigned task. So that is the task management system on my portal. As I've shown you, it has a PHP script that generates, that takes a tech template and replaces the variables in it, and then renders the tech file with PDF LaTeX. So that's my task example. Next, I think we have the pre-bill and bill example. So in the old portal, we've got, for billing screen, we've got a bunch of cases with information on. What I'm going to do is show you the pre-bill under the old portal. Now, this is a FPDF module in PHP. It's super helpful, but at the same time, it has way fewer options and customizations and bells and whistles than LaTeX. So I have a very basic printout here, and this is what I've been using since 2017 for the pre-bills that people get. A pre-bill is an estimate of what the person will owe given the work that's in progress, called WIP, or work in progress. So this is what the old pre-bills look like. The new pre-bills in the next-gen system you can access by clicking on the task. Now, I don't have that case up here, but let me just click a different one. Pre-bill for this matter. Now we have, it's no secret who my clients are, by the way, because we have court filings that show that I'm representing them. So for this particular client, Jessica, we have a pre-bill that shows on my letterhead what the date was, who worked on the task, what the task was, time spent, the hourly rate, and the subtotal for that particular time entry. And this goes down until the end in terms of SQL entries, and it shows me a summary of who did what on the case, how much the bill will be for that individual, the subtotal, cost advance for the client, any previous balance the client had, prepayments or credits, and the estimated total due. In this case, this client has a credit balance, and their balance will be updated as new time entries are added. So this is my pre-bill, where I have there's an opportunity to send to the client what their standing is or what they will be expecting to owe in the near future. So that's the pre-bill. Let me show you the pre-bill PHP script. Pre-bill tech file. This is similar to the task tech file. Now here we have, as you can see, the variables are tagged by PHP tags once again. Then I have other text in line with the tags that indicates what the variables are, but it's kind of, description or descriptive text about what the variables will be. So this is corresponds to the end of the pre-bill that shows summary by biller, we've got summary by biller, and then so on. So very simple and very helpful to have this template tech that I can just replace my variables with PHP output and then generate a PDF that's very helpful to the client and myself to see where everyone stands. That's the pre-bill feature. And next we have the email feature. So email over here, got, these are just unread messages in my inbox. These are the last 20 unread messages. So we have the opportunity to look at the email or print it or both. So let's just say I want to look at that email. Here it is right there, just loaded. I do this with an IMAP request in the PHP script to my email server. It's on a separate machine. I log in with IMAP and I retrieve the metadata for the email. And then when I click on the email, a script on the server retrieves the IMAP headers and body and prints them out to my browser. So just example, I can view the emails inline in my interface so that I don't have to leave my interface to read my email. I want to print this. So what I can do is the print option gives me a nice, this is still under construction, so it's not perfect, but it gives me a nice kind of summary with the sender date and the sender formatting here. But anyway, I've got the contents of the email in an Outlook style PDF that I can print out and share that with whoever or file it or whatever I need to do or put it in my electronic file. But anyway, the email tech file looks something like this. That's just another tech file, and I've got only one variable, which is var content here, and that's generated in my PHP script, which is going to be this right here. So, read the tech template from the file system, that's email.tech. Put all the PHP tag variables into an array. Place the variables with data from the input lookup table or database. In this case, I've got user on the get query is Relic, which is my username. And the email ID is the number right here. That's the UID for the IMAP query. And I have an IMAP fetch script right here, which has all my passwords in it. Hide that for now. Then I have variables, which I replace here. And then I have, once again, the patterned placements in arrays, which place appropriately in the new file string. I then take the new file string and create an additional tech file with the user underscore email ID dot tech. And then I process the email file using PDF LaTeX to create a PDF of this email. I then display the PDF in the browser, which is the last step right here. And obviously there's some more debug I need to do with those, for example, but the text of the email is there, and that is what matters for compliance purposes and otherwise. So where are we now? I've shown you the interface, shown you the task orders, I've shown you the pre-bills, and I'd like to talk about future uses for this system. So one challenge that I face as well in the law firm is generating pleadings, that is, documents that are used in court filings or other cases. So what I've done here is include a sample of a pleading that will be in the next-gen interface, but is not quite there yet in terms of integration. Let me go to that thing here. Okay, I'm just going to go show this in TextMaker. So what I get here is a template that I've custom drafted from resources online as well as my own work, so that you see what it can look like or what it will look like in the near future, different options that I have. What I'm going to do is have these fields at the top be sourced from a database or a template, and then obviously the court from wherever court it is and a list of courts. Parties will be listed from a database, and the type of pleading will be done in a web form. But all I do is I type into a web form what I want the document to show, and then it's going to create a PDF for me that looks like this in the browser. I'm not quite there yet, so I will be there within about a month, I think, with the different options for pleading templates. Another thing I need to do is a calendar and report template so that I have calendars printed in my system. Because currently we use Thunderbird for our calendaring with a Radical backend, and that's helpful and super useful. But the thing is, someone has to have Thunderbird to see the calendar. What I would like to do is have calendar reports where it shows for each individual user what their upcoming events are and what their deadlines are and what the dates are and what the invitations are for Zoom and things like that. So in the near future, I will have a calendar-based report that generated by tech that has all that information. So calendaring is one example. Reporting on telemetry and metrics for the firm, another one. So I can have nice printable PDF reports of what the firm is doing and what people are up to in terms of tasks or task clearance rates or things like that. Because I have all the data. What I need to do is format it appropriately so that it's readable and usable in an actual law firm setting. In terms of my concluding thoughts, tech and LaTeX are the greatest free software of all time, in my opinion. They integrate nicely with LAMP web application stack. I find it straightforward to integrate into my web platform and web application because it's editable in Vim and any other editor and can process relatively quickly. One challenge and improvement is that rendering speed is not optimal. So for example, if I go to render my task order here, that's about 500 milliseconds, or if not longer. So what would be nice is, that's about 1,000 milliseconds. What would be nice is an optimizer for LaTeX or PDF to LaTeX that would enhance the responsiveness of the system. Because if you look here, even on my system here, without any optimizations, the rendering is only 330 ms. That's with that IMAP query that reads the first out of 10,000 messages or so, the top 20 unread messages. I'm very happy with the performance and responsiveness of my interface. It's just that the PDF generator could use a little bit more optimization. There might be optimizations that can be made when running PDF to LaTeX from a command line. I'm not sure. That's above my pay grade. I'm just an end user. So, where are we now? This system has a lot of potential, and what it will be in the future is a system that I sell to other attorneys or license to other attorneys. It's not quite there yet, but that is on the long-term plan future for this product. So with the easy customization and templates, I find that it will be very easy to put in other law firms' data in the letterhead and extend this system to other law firms, which is the goal. But I'm not quite there, as I said. So what else? In terms of cost, obviously this is a substantial cost savings for the firm, because if I wanted to have my own pro law system or other template-based system that is a professional document management system, it would cost a lot more than zero, which is what the current the LaTeX portion costs. So I'm overall very happy with LaTeX and tech-based workflow. I think it's been a great addition to my firm. I've got great feedback from my coworkers, and I think that I'll be using this extensively going forward, particularly with generating template pleadings and other documents that might require some customization. So I think I've used about 20 minutes here, but anyway, I've got time for questions. I'll be live here momentarily. Thank you very much.
All right, that was the presentation, and I'm not sure, is Andrew online? There he is.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Hi, Andrew. Any questions from the audience?
I also did a lot of investing in creating legal documents. And I also made a package for it, regulatory it's called. And I also wrote a package, Lua placeholders, which might be interesting, but I didn't recall which compiler you're using, because it's Lua LaTeX based. But that offers a nice separation in the data layer, like you could use JSON to provide all your data from PHP to the LaTeX domain. So you won't have to generate LaTeX type of stuff, or I couldn't honestly read the code that well, but
Right.
But I was curious if such packages would also be beneficial for your appliances.
Absolutely. I think that any enhancement in terms of like JSON data, and that kind of method of doing this would enhance my responsiveness, and I would very much be interested in that.
Okay, I've also wrote an article about it in the Tugboat, the latest one, which demonstrates invoicing. It's actually focused on YAML, but it has fallback for JSON.
I'll check that out.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Frank. What I would be interested in is how much you are required to deal with accessibility of your documents. I mean, this is to clients, so it's kind of not in the public, whatever documents you produce, but maybe to the courts, they are in the public, I don't know. So I was wondering, is that something in your space which is becoming more and more a requirement to have accessible PDFs if you distribute these kind of things as PDFs, or is it completely of no interest in your space?
Accessibility of PDFs in terms of like ADA issues like disabilities.
Yes, exactly. Like being able to have them read out properly, those kind of things, which is becoming, well, worldwide basically more and more of a requirement. I mean, in the US, as far as the public sector in academics and so is, they are really required to have that their work being done accessible. So I was wondering if this is also something that is showing up in your space and how you are going to deal with that, or how much interest that is.
It's of limited interest currently because as a private law firm, we're not required to make accessible PDFs for any purposes. For the government, they have certain guidelines, like on PACER, the federal court filing system, there might be guidelines for bookmarks and things like that. So we certainly have that, and the LaTeX output with the bookmarks is actually very helpful. I didn't show that part.
Okay, thanks.
Any further questions? Nelson?
Thanks for a nice demonstration of the problems of doing a lot of relatively routine documents that are database driven and have a relatively standardized form, which is an important advantage of a system like LaTeX that can be run from a command line as opposed to someone pressing buttons in a GUI. In terms of the speed of response of typesetting these documents, have you considered building specialized format files where you read in your company's macro packages on top of LaTeX and then dump that out? Because that could speed up things relatively substantially, because it's then reading in a pre-processed memory image of already parsed tech code.
That's an outstanding insight, sir. I have that next on my list. I just haven't gotten there yet, but that is one of the command line optimizations I mentioned, and it's on the drawing board at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Anything else? Boris?
Yeah, a comment from YouTube. People say that maybe plain text instead of LaTeX would be more appropriate, and I would add that it would be much faster.
Excellent point. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's from the ether. Okay, thank you, Andrew. I'm not sure where you are. You're here. All right.